What is going on YouTube? This is your boy Mike Brown, aka Panda Man, and today we have our Gren Maju deck profile. So let's get right into it. So first and foremost, you already know the man, the myth, the legend, the three Gren Maju Dai Iza. I wouldn't say the heart and soul of the deck anymore because you have a lot more ways to OTK with this deck now. The deck has evolved from back in the day from just trying to banish as many cards as possible with Necroface and then just summoning Gren Maju to deal over 8k points of damage. But, you know, like I said, the deck has really evolved from then. We have a lot of more ways to OTK, but he's still there when you need him to. Now, the second man in charge, we got the 3 Gizmek Orochi. This card is actually insane. When the card was first announced, I already knew the #1 deck I was going to be playing. It was going to be Gren Maju. For those who don't know, it has a maintenance cost to banish, quick effect to banish 8 cards off the top of the deck in order to summon it from the hand or graveyard. But you can only use each effect once per turn. It has an additional effect where you can banish 3 cards from your extra deck face down to pop a monster on the field. I wish it was card. If it was card, it'd be pretty decent, but it checks all the boxes. It's a dark, it's a level 8, and it banishes cards, which helps us with Gren Maju. We do play some dangers. We play the 3 Bigfoot. Obviously, it's removal, gets rid of cards. It's a level 8, it's another dark, and it's a 3k beater. Sometimes in grind moments, you have to ride on Bigfoot sometimes just to deal in that extra little amount of damage just to get you there until you see the Gren Maju, but still a good card all in all. Draws cards, gets consistency. We do play the 3 Thunderbird as well. Thunderbird is actually still strong for this deck. Another level 8 dark. We'll get into that in a second moving on, but you know, it does what it needs to do. All right, for the 2 ofs, we do play 2 of the Alpha Master Beast. Alpha is pretty good. I don't think you need to play it at 3, in my opinion, because I feel like sometimes it can be a little bit cloggy. But it is good for consistency purposes. We do play trade-in in the deck, you know, hence all the level 8s and all the synergy, but it's really good just to get rid of other monsters, or, you know, like I said, when we get later on in the deck profile, you'll see other applications it has for the deck. Another 2 of we do play is the Eater of Millions. If I could, if I felt more comfortable, I would bump him up to 3, but it has been a few times where he was a little bit cloggy. But Eater is there sometimes just for a push, sometimes for an OTK. If you have the line for Desires, Eater of Millions, Gren Maju, and the Gizmek, it's well over 8,000 damage depending on what your opponent has on board and depending on what cards you have in order to deal with said board. But he's a big boy. You can banish equal amount of cards face down in order to special summon him. I believe the minimum is 5 from your hand, field, and extra deck to summon him. And then if he attacks at the start of the battle, he can banish whatever monster he banished faces down. And he gains 100 for each total face down card that is banished. Counts for both players. It's pretty good. Now we are playing a Kaiju package. This is what I was talking about as far as the Alpha Master Beast, but the same lineup I had before for the Fluffle deck profile. We played the 3 littles and we play 1 of each increments of an attack. So we got the 33, 3,000, and 28. If I could, honestly, I would probably swap it out. I would play 3 of the Raiden. I would play 1 Jizukiru and maybe 2 Gameciel. But right now, I mean, you have so many darks that you really don't have to rely on Raiden anymore. But like I said, it's pretty good. Like I said, when you combo it with the Alpha Master Beast being able to bounce your Kaijus back to your hand and be able to use them again. That's it for the monsters. For the spells, obviously the 3 Kaiju Slumber, self-explanatory. I feel like it's necessary to max this out at 3. Don't want to banish it off Desires, and then even if you do, you still at least when I have hope for one more. There's been a few times where I had to check my banish pile when top decking got interrupted Kaiju Slumber, and still be having Kaijus left in order to summon 2 Kaijus from me. More consistency, draw power. We do have the 3 trade-in, also self-explanatory. Play too many level 8s just to discard and get that draw power. And then more consistency. We played 3 Allure Darkness. Like I said, we have a ton of darks in the deck, just to see what we got going on as far as what we can draw, what we can do in order to find our combo line and push for a game. And then our last consistency piece is Pot of Desires. Don't know why this card isn't back at 3. Konami, I wish you could give us a little bit of a tip or something on why this card isn't back at 3, but you know, at 2, I mean, it is what it is. Desires is a heck of a card, being able to banish 10 off the top of the deck just to get our Gren Maju at 4,000. That's more than enough. But like I said, it just adds on, because the #1 thing about the deck was just getting cards banished on your own instead of relying on Necroface to banish cards from both players. Even though Gren Maju doesn't count for both players, I wish it did. That'd be pretty crazy. For more disruption, we do play the 2 Lightning Storm. You know, it's down at 2. And self-explanatory: removal, back row, and monsters. For the 1-0s, we play the 1 Foolish Burial for the Gizmek. And we play the 1 Instant Fusion. We'll get into that later. And then also the 1 Harpies for the back row. I guess instituting it for another Lightning Storm. This is 38 cards. The last card that I would play for this deck would be 2 Mass Change 2s. And we'll get into that in a second. So on to the extra deck. For our guys, we have the 2 Dingirsu, the Evening Star. Dingirsu is pretty good. Requires 2 level 8s, obviously, and then on summon it sends a card, and then you detach in order to protect from destruction. I actually like it at 2. Before I was playing it at 1, and it was just too many times where it would come up where you had to get rid of 1 monster just to open the gateways for Gren Maju to do the rest of the damage. So he gets the job done when need be. We do play the 1 Photon Lord, just to negate something there with a big booty, 3,000 defense, something there just in case. Doesn't really do as much, but he's just there just for negation. We do play the 1 Hope Harbinger, the 1 Pain Gainer, and the 1 7 Sins. These are just guys for extra rank up fodder. I was thinking about sometimes replacing maybe the Pain Gainer and the 7 Sins for the armor package. We do have a bunch of rank up Galaxy rank 8s we can go into that do the same thing essentially, to pop and do removal, but it's just rank up for the big guy, which is the Zeus. Don't really go into him that much, but when you have Pain Gainer with 7 materials, and then depending on what the game state is, being able to have Zeus with about 8 to 12 materials is pretty insane. For our links, we play the 1 Relinquish Anima, the 1 Unicorn, and the 1 Dark. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's self-explanatory, but it's just flex spots. I would, depending on if I would have to change anything, I would probably take out the Anima, maybe put in an access code. But for other reasons, like I said, we'll get into is why I play the 1 Relinquish Anima. For the fusions, we'll start off with the Thousand Eyes. That's why we play the 1 Instant Fusion. In order to Instant Fusion, summon out the Thousand Eyes, take a monster, link it off for Relinquish Anima, and then take that monster as well is pretty good. Also for the Kaijus as well, taking the Kaijus. And then for our Super Poly targets, we play the Starving Venom, we play the Draco Stapelia, and then we also play our Mud Dragon. Just like I said, more flex spots just for more removal. Super Poly is a pretty good card in this format, in my opinion, and being able to just break your opponent's board going second with this deck is just something that really helps the deck just get there and OTK the opponent. And then the last card we play is the Dark Law. Play 1 Dark Law just for interruption, just to get cards banished. think it's a pretty good tech just because we play all the darks and it's just our last flex spot. Don't know what I would change for that. I don't really have a side deck, but I do have just a few funny cards just for the deck to, for some of the weaknesses. For starters, the 3 Ghost Sister Spooky Dogwood going into time with the deck, and that's one of the issues. If you're unable to deal in that damage, or if your opponent knows what you're on, just to, get you out of the game, I think this is a pretty good card for this format. A lot of special summoning just for opponents to, combo and be able to get the win, but this card is pretty good in time. More cards that are actually funny in time is 3 Soul Absorption. Being able to just slap this down and then just activate a desire is being able to banish 10 for cost. At that point, depending on how much time is left on the clock, you pretty much got that game. Same thing with the 3D Fisher and 3 Macros. Cosmos, something that is good this format, a lot of decks do. Starting to realize that the meta is kind of forming around decks that do revolve around cards being in graveyard. So D Fisher and Macro Cosmos obviously just blow out cards, in my opinion. Crazy floodgates to get rid of the graveyard. Same thing with the D Shifter. But D Shifter also serves other purposes. He's a dark, use it off Alert Darkness just to get rid of it, and then if your graveyard is still clear, you can still use another one. And then another, obviously, the Super Poly, because Super Poly is still at 3, and Super Poly is still a good, hell of a card. Super Poly is pretty insane. But some other flex spots for those Gren Maju players out there, I was looking at the Trap Trick and being able to play certain normal traps that are just blowouts when you want to go first and or second. You got your Eradicator, you got your Soul of Supreme King, and you also have your different Dimension Grounds. Other cards that you also could play, all your Floodgates, Tikaboo, Skill Drain, Summon Limit, Goes In, etc., etc. Just things that could help the deck when going first. I know that's the deck's biggest weakness, is if, going games 2 and 3, depending on if you win the dice roll and your opponent tells you to go first, you don't want to Desires and then set Ground Maju pass. Need more ways in order to, go first and have floodgate your opponent to death to where, they have to pass, and hopefully you'll have the combo line in order to OTK. But that's about it. Let me know what you guys think below. Tell me some other things maybe that I missed, some things that you think that could help the deck, rather going first and or second. Like I said, I think this is still a pretty good deck for this format. Whatever, if you want to play it for fun or just, bring it to a competitive event. But like I said, please do comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. For those who missed the Fluffle deck profile, it is in the description. And like I said, I will get the Tribute Stun deck out to you guys whenever that comes up, and the Fire King deck profile when we do get the structure deck. We're supposed to be getting that sometime in December. But like I said, it will be coming to you guys as soon as possible. But like I said, please do leave a comment and a like, and do subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.